Good afternoon, everyone. Egypt rejects French wheat. Ergot. Contamination. Taking a look at the witch trials from 1550 to 1700. That is straight in the middle of the 16th century mega drought. Speaking of droughts, Uganda behind in planting, poor crop conditions. And look at some of the seeds and beans across Vietnam while I was traveling there last week. And speaking of seeds, TrueLeafMarket.com, heirloom and organic seeds for any grow zone on the planet. It is the planting season right now. What are you going to grow in your garden this year? Because growing your own food is going to be an essential skill set moving into the Grand Solar Minimum. The Adapt 2030 link's in the description box below the video. A term that you're not hearing every day, ergot content. Remember the ergot poisoning? Kind of an LSD type of mimicking effect that brought upon the witch trials. French cargo stuck in Egypt due to high levels of ergot. But it seems as though it's business as usual. I'm sure you could have told everybody back in the 15th and 16th century it was business as usual, witches creating hailstorms. And look at the 1550 to 1700 witch trials distributed across Europe. Now notice where the concentrations are. This is a good indication of where this Grand Solar Minimum weather impacts are going to be most highly felt, if you will. So look where this is on the map. And if you look at today's extreme weather, we'll start to pinpoint these same exact areas. Record everything. Northern Italian Alps over into Slovenia, down in the Adriatic, right in the middle of France, with the exact same thing happening now, decimation of vineyards. But this all was brought about as well with the 16th century mega drought, as we can see right here in the tree rings. I'm going to zoom that in right there on the tight ring so you can see what drought conditions look like. We're going to be going right back into something like this in the Grand Solar Minimum. Now, drought is only one part of these weather changes that we're seeing. Cold is as well. So take a look at the progression from 1530 approximately on the left side of the chart there, and then the dropout in temperatures, and you can see the undulation. So it wasn't cold all the time, even during the Maunder Minimum. There were some decades that were warmer than others, but you see that 40-year spell right there, right in the late 1560s, cold, 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 and cold, and then it warmed up a bit, and then it got cold again. But you can expect these types of variants and undulations in decadal temperatures moving forward. We're just starting to head into one of the downtrends in cool all the way until 2024, 2025 in this first wave of cold. It's mimicking the exact same thing that's forecast in solar activity that you can see on this chart. Just fast forward to today. And we're all familiar with the year without a summer after the Tambora eruption, but were you aware there was also another year without a summer? 1628. Guess what? They blamed it on witches. I know this one has made the rounds for several months over on Reddit, but it's still apropos for the heavy hailstorms created by witches. So I wonder who the new scapegoat will be when the weather falls out. Speaking of poor planting conditions right now, Uganda. Failed start to seasonal rains. This seems to be the story of the year. Everywhere you look, the weather patterns are off by 1 to 2 months. So how is our global agriculture going to adapt to this? Taking a look at the IRI multi-model probability forecast here. Precipitation, May, June, July 2019. What you're looking for is the yellow. Yellow means difficulty planting. And since I'm on the subject of seeds and growing, take a look at some of the choices here in Hanoi, Vietnam. Walking around, I snapped this image. Different types of beans and dried goods right there, storefront. And this is just a very small selection of what's available. So thinking about relocation into different areas across the planet, if you're thinking of such a thing, you're going to have to think about the local availability of supplies that you can get in bulk. Thanks for watching. Hope you got something out of the video. Please remember to visit my sponsor, My Patriot Supply. Long-term food storage and different accessories to help you get ready for the Grand Solar Minimum. Drying, dehydrating, canning, water filtration. And remember, every single purchase helps keep Adapt 2030 on the air, independent, and bringing you more information like this. And if you're looking for more in-depth analysis, 30 minutes at a time, on the go, many Ice Age Conversations podcast, anywhere podcasts are hosted across the net, and I will see you next video.